Buenos dias, good morning. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month. I hope you are well, staying positive, and focused on what you can control. My name is Patricia Mota, and I'm currently serving as President and CEO for the Hispanic Alliance for Career Enhancement, national nonprofit whose mission is to positively impact workplaces by cultivating the pipeline of Latino talent, providing Latinos the insight, access, and development to be successful in their careers. Before we get started with our special guest today, a few reminders. Please continue to share your story, my career, my way with us, and also enroll in our one-on-one career coaching opportunity program, an opportunity to meet one-on-one, whether you're in transition, looking for that promotion, that next opportunity. We have coaches that are willing to work with you for one-on-one sessions. And lastly, our virtual career fair for entry level, whether it's recent college grads or college students that are looking for that internship or that next opportunity. So go to the website, aceonline.org, to find more information. And again, today we are kicking off Hispanic Heritage Month. And my special guest today and good friend is Claudia Romo Edelman, who is the founder of We Are All Human Foundation, the Hispanic Star and Global Goals Cast. Claudia, buenos dias.
Buenos dias, my friend. Thank you so much. You're such a role model for the community, and it's always a pleasure for me to be able to spend time with you and your members.
Thank you, Claudia. We have folks that are tuning in. So, those that are tuning in, please get your questions. We want to hear from you, your comments. And as always, Claudia, we usually start our Cafecito con Ace asking our guests, how do you like your cafecito or your morning beverage of choice prepared?
I like my cafecito very early in the morning, as first as I can, but I am now, and I'm a cappuccino person 100%, but I like it really strong. Um, but now I'm trying to get into the habit of adding a cup of hot water with lemon before my cafecito so that you can give your body a break and start detoxing. So my cafecito after my agüita con limoncito.
After the detox, then the cafecito, and continue the cafecito. A good balance there, Claudia. Claudia, so one of the things we like to share with our, at least those that are tuning in, is the career trajectory of our guests, right? As part of our My Career, My Way campaign, can you share your career trajectory and how you have shaped your career in terms on your own terms?
I I really think that if you start looking at your careers and particularly looking at people that have like long careers, everybody, if you look back, there's one story or one moment or one person that really defined who you are, what you do. And in my case, and I think that everybody has it, by the way, and we should just like be very curious about what's that moment or what's that thing that starts defining who you were at the beginning. But in my case, it was an earthquake in Mexico, 1985, and not one earthquake, one series of earthquakes that really came and hit the city and destroyed most of it. And as a teenager, that was the first time that I was faced with such a tragedy, but also the first time that I had to volunteer and look for, first of all, a safety space because there were so many earthquakes and buildings were falling one minute after the other, but also like start looking at my family and friends. So we were sweeping the streets, and I
Mm,
was in this volunteering group trying to see that there was no one left in the buildings. And when I was walking, Patricia, all of a sudden I had this thing, right? Like this thing that stopped me, and I was like, "Did I hear something? This hesitation and that like." And I was like, the only thing I did was start opening my mouth and screaming out my lungs. I was like, "Stop! Come back!" And so I remember actually like it was very noisy and confusing. No one could hear me, so I screamed even louder until that one guy from my group turned around and said like, "What?" And I said like, "I think I heard a voice." He said like, "Did you think? Or did you hear a voice?" And I just went back to stop, come back, come back. And so by the time he came and he looked at me but by the time he came, it was clear there was a small voice. There was
mm,
someone out there. So he looked at me, I looked at him, and we both like, stop, come back. So there were two more people that came and started screaming out loud, and then more people, enough so that we can actually start pushing that incredible wall
mm,
that was like that was trapping it. And all of a sudden we were able to break through, and there was the light coming into the building, and the eyes of the girl, the eyelashes full of
mm.
dust, there that looked at me and said, like, you got me, right? Like those eyes of like, I'm safe now, right? Like we're gonna make this.
Mm.
And that was the first time in my life in which I felt useful at the core, like, and that's something I really wanted to continue doing. And I've been able to do that all my life. But also, Patricia, that was the first time in my life in which it made sense, right? Like my father complained all the time, like, Claudia, you're so loud, you're so loud. And all of a sudden, I was like, yeah, this is great. Actually, I can be loud for a living, and this is going to be good. And it's going to give me that sense of usefulness, and it's going to give me that sense of helping and bringing what is
Mm.
invisible to visible and bringing, like I was very clear that it was very clear to me that I was not going to be able to move that ruin, but I was able to call the attention of for help and get the attention of someone that together we got even more and more and more. And that's pretty much what I think my role in the Hispanic community can be.
Wow, Claudia, such a powerful story. And I always learn something new about you when we connect. And I think many of us have had a pivotal moment that have shaped us. And it takes some time for some of us to reflect and to think about what that is. But some of us know right away when was that moment that really influenced our career trajectory. And for you, if you look at Claudia's background, those of you tuning in, it's been consistently about making a difference and giving back community. But another thing, Claudia, that you made me think of, right, as we're pushing, the initiatives with Hispanic Star and for Hispanic Heritage Month, you're big on unity because it truly, just as the example you gave, takes all of us, a collective power, to be able to push that wall to move forward. And so I love that example that you just shared. And in preparation for Hispanic Heritage Month, you and your team, the Hispanic Star, developed an amazing toolkit that organizations can leverage during this month and beyond. But can you tell us your goal behind this and what we should expect, and those tuning in, those who are in corporate America or getting started in their careers further along, what should we know about that?
I, I mean, like, pretty much, like pretty much what we're living as Latinos, Hispanics, Latinx, whatever you want to identify, whatever you feel comfortable with, honestly, doesn't make sense. Like if you look at it like coldly, just on paper, it makes no sense. We're big, but we're seen as small. We're powerful, but even ourselves, we think of ourselves as weak. It makes no sense. The census is all about saying, like the writing is in the wall. This community means growth. This community means the heart of America. If we would be Iron Man, we would be the light, like the heart of America that is keeping actually the American dream alive. We're the youngest, we're the most profitable, we're we're the majority, we're bringing more business, we're creating, like the reality is that America would not be where it is without Latinos, but we don't see that reflected in our value, in our salaries, in the opportunities that we have, in the
Mm-hmm.
funding that we're getting. So it makes no sense. So we have a problem. And
Yeah.
so, pretty much like the wall of that ruin that I faced when I was a teenager, we have a cloud. We have a huge cloud covering the shine of our stars that have been contributing since the 16th century. We have a cloud that is not actually allowing anyone, not even ourselves, see how we are positive, and we have been, and our parents and our grandparents, all their sacrifices, they should be recognized, and we just have to be seen. So I'm calling on everyone to make an effort to together try to remove that cloud so that we can be seen as what we are, stars, positive
Mm-hmm.
contributors. America's made of stars, and Hispanics are one of them. And so instead of actually like focusing on, oh, Hispanic Heritage Month is only 1 month and not the entire year, or Cinco de Mayo is not the national revolution of Mexico, those are excuses. We should take every opportunity to coordinate and to sing from the same song sheet, and to sing from the same song sheet together, so that we can remove that cloud, so that people know that Latinos are positive contributors to the country, that America is made of stars and we're one of them. So Hispanic Heritage Month for us is a massive opportunity because no one
Mm-hmm.
can take it away from us. It's the one time of the year in which is presidential. We have to actually be given the chance. So what
Mm-hmm.
I was proposing to everyone is, why don't we actually get really ready and have everything that we know, everything that we need, a unifying messaging framework, so that we can be singing from the same song sheet and saying the same things and saying them together, unifying data sets. Because if you know the data, then you will feel empowered and you don't feel weak, you feel powerful because we're powerful. And the third
Mhm.
thing is a ready to go communication asset, so that, like everybody of us have a job. And my job is to unify and to equip. So that's my job. But everybody else has a job to do. So if we want to really make this happen, you have to have a plug and play. That if you're in a company, you can just like say, here's my PowerPoint presentation, 10 minutes talking to my boss about the power of the community and why this is an opportunity for everyone in the company to actually keep growing. How do I take the internal communication assets that you might have as an employee resource group and say, like, no problem, we didn't organize anything, no need to do a bad margarita half an hour and a little mariachi so that
There's
everybody
nothing wrong with
can.
a margarita as well. We can throw it in there too.
Yeah, we can throw in the door, but that's not the point. The
Yeah,
point is
yeah.
we should be talking about how do we celebrate Latinos, how do we hire, how do we promote, how do you actually see me, how do we make that transition. And I think that
Yes.
that's what we're trying to do, is just provide a toolkit. Year after year we will do this, which is a commitment of our foundation to everyone, from all of us to all of us with love, to equip you with messaging, with data, and with assets, so that year after year we take opportunities like Hispanic Heritage Month to elevate our voices together so that we can move forward.
So all of you tuning in, there's no excuse, right? We have the tools and the resources are out there for us to be able to advocate for the community. Priscilla, thank you for the comment that came through. I have a few of you that are engaging. Please get your questions and any other comments ready. We have a few minutes with Claudia before we wrap up. Claudia, I remember, I think, I don't know if it was 2 years ago now, when the We Are All Human Foundation had the statistic about 77% or so of Hispanics, Latinos not recognizing the power behind our community, right? And so for a lot of us, that was an aha moment, and being able to equip our community with the data, with these tools, right? And so now we have that information in front of us, and as we can see from the census, it's Latinos that are driving the population growth, also multicultural, and our future is becoming increasingly intersectional as a community, and Asian being kind of the lead drivers regarding the population growth. And so a lot to look forward to. But to your point, we have to advocate for ourselves within our companies. What should employers, let's say corporations, big employers, be doing during this time?
Employers have an incredible role to play because
Hmm.
these are the most trusted institutions for the Latinos. Like,
Hmm.
like we have lost a lot of confidence in media, in government, like there's a lot that happened in the last couple of years. So we trust our employer. And so what we need to make sure is that our employer sees us and takes action and invest in Latinos, and actually doing nothing is doing harm. So you really need to take a stand as an ally, because what is clear,
Hmm.
Patricia, is that
Hmm.
it's on us. This is the generation, and it's not that it's going to be forever possible for us to make a change. We have a window of opportunity. Our
Yeah.
ancestors and everybody that is behind us and above us has brought us to this point, and we have a chance to be the last generation that is invisible, not seen, not heard, not valued, but we have an obligation to act. So as employers, as managers, if you understand that this is the time for you to have a very well prepared workforce, really like attracting the talent of Latinos, but also make that transformational, historic change that we're about to do, so that we can generate change for the future generation to really make that change and be fully seen, fully paid, fully recognized. You have to act out. You have to take action. It's either you're an ally or you're a
Hmm.
bystander. And it's a choice that we all have to make. In which side of the history do we want to be? Do we want to actually take the opportunity, the really incredible window of opportunity we have, to really make it and pay all the sacrifices, like pay forward and honor the sacrifices of our ancestors that have brought us to be so ready, or not? So if
Hmm.
you're an ally, if you want to be an ally, is like really pass on the mic, recognize and be interested in the Latino community, fight stereotypes, get incredibly curious about what is it to be a Latino in the workplace. How do I attract the Latino consumer by investing in the communities, by investing my marketing money, because there's a lot to be done, and you don't want to engage with us in a tragedy. You want to
Yeah.
engage with us in opportunities like this, proactive and positively, not when there's a killing and then you come and say, like, oh, I am with my Latino community. That's a very different type of engagement. So I really urge you all, as employers, to recognize that the trust of Latinos is you have the heart and the trust of Latinos in your hands. But we walk out like we're not gonna go and fight with the president or the CEO, or we're not gonna fight with the HR person as much as we might just walk out if we don't feel welcome. And that statistic that you mentioned about the
Yeah,
77% of us that don't know about Latinos, imagine how big that number is when it's not
yeah.
about like when it's non-Latinos. So it's all the basic of all is an educational campaign about the power of Latinos.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now is the time. And you're right. We have this window of opportunity that we must leverage, both as individuals that are contributing in these workplaces, but also as employers to be able to ensure that we're building our future pipeline and leveraging the talent that currently exists today.
And I
Uh,
must give you one piece of kudos because it
uh,
was you. It was
uh,
you who were my first ever partner 3 years ago. When I started looking at that number, at that 77%, and I was like, we need to do something. We have to create ambassadorship programs. We have to do something so that we create this awareness raising and
mhm,
educational campaign. And it was with ASEAN, with someone like a leader, visionary leader like you, that gave me a hand to say, like, let's launch a 10 by 10 ambassador so that 10
mhm.
facts about Latinos is shared by 10 to 10 people, and we launched it with ASE. And now I hope that this is a national movement that we're all having about becoming activists and becoming, like owning our data and being educated about our power.
And I'm hopeful about that. I know we have, excuse me, as we have a few minutes left. And that leads me to my last question for you, Claudia. What are you most hopeful for, or a positive story that gives you hope for the remainder of this year?
I am absolutely hopeful and confident that this is the time, and the time to act is now, and that is happening. I mean, like
Hmm.
the more I look around, the more I see the investment that companies are doing in believing that Hispanics, like have to be prioritized. I am very hopeful that the Hispanic star, that symbol that we created together, that can belong to us, like that could be like the rainbow for the LGBTQ, that this can be a useful tool for all of us to unify under a symbol, whether you're Mexican, Colombian, Venezuelan, but also that is a platform that is taken by, like the way that the rainbow is taken by companies, and you can see during Pride Month in the t-shirts, in the talking points, in the stores, like in the marketing opportunities, so that we can see a breakthrough that allows us to really become and believe that we are the stars that we are.
Thank Claudia. I'm so grateful for your partnership and for all that you're doing. Our missions are aligned in that sense to ensure that our community is seen, valued, and represented. Right? Because right now that's not the case. That it's going to take everybody that's tuning in, individuals, our employer partners across the country, to take action. And Claudia, and so I thank you for your time and joining us today. Those tuning in, please share this video, like, continue to comment, and engage with us, and know that we are here to support you during Hispanic Heritage Month and beyond, not just this month, ¿verdad, Claudia? But we
No,
are here continuously fulfilling this mission and ensuring that our community is, again, valued, seen, and represented. Claudia, mil gracias. Un abrazo bien fuerte. I know I haven't seen you in person in a while, but I look forward to it. We thank you for taking time with us today.
and me too. Thank you so very much for your friendship, for your partnership, and for believing that this is our time. It's time to act. And I hope that HispanicStar.org can be a good resource for all of you. Happy
It
Hispanic Heritage
is.
Month.
Happy Hispanic Heritage Month. Hasta la próxima a todos.
Bye.
Bye.